and I'm wrong way. Hey, now I'm centered. Woo! Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie. Thank you for joining me for today's video. Okay, so a little backstory on this one. I have been obsessing over duochrome and multichrome pigments ever since I first saw them. They flood my Instagram page, and the concoctor in me wants to make my own. So I did a whole bunch of research on it, and I placed an order with Just Pigments. So it finally came in. It actually didn't take that long, but with the COVID thing, things are just taking longer than they probably normally would. So for me, it just felt like it was forever. But in hindsight, it really didn't take that long. Maybe a week. Maybe two. Anyway, and then I ordered an eyeshadow pressing kit from TKB Traders. Well, it's not the kit because they never have that kit in stock. But I ordered the pressing medium and some tins and all of that. So I'm hoping that that will actually ship soon because it hasn't even shipped. I haven't gotten any confirmation on that. So hopefully soon. Because while I can still use my pigments, I can't press them yet. You know what I mean. And in fact, I am wearing these new pigments on my eyes. And I did a little bit of digging into interference pigments, which is what these are. They're interference pigments. They're what create that cotton candy duochrome effect. Like you don't see them one way necessarily, but then you see them flash color when you see them at like a 45-degree or 120-degree angle. So that's what we're looking at today. And if you're interested, just stay tuned. So how do you like the new background? We decided to paint it black. Oh, and oh my gosh, I have lights. Hold on a minute. I'm forgetting myself. Wait a minute. Yeah. They're pretty, right? Oh, and I forgot to light my candles. I'm all over the place today. I've been waiting to make this video because so I started looking up interference pigments and I kind of fell into a rabbit hole. So let me get my trusty laptop. I told you, I'm all over the place. I'm not lying. So yeah, I'm adding to it. How do you like the holographic Mononoke? My son, he did this, and this is his logo for his company, Collective Perspective. So there you have it. He's embellishing my laptop even more than it is. So like I said, I ended up down this rabbit hole because, oh, and I have my camera now in my ring light. So I'm sorry, it's not the best tripod for a camera of my size. It's really more designed for holding a cell phone. But we're going with it because it works for now. Hopefully. It provides me more space anyway. Going to my notes. So I have to take notes, especially when I'm doing research because it's not a steel trap anymore. And I remember most of it because I was interested in it. And yeah. Anyway, so most pigments come from a base chemical corporation. And then they're sold to distributors. And then the distributor then sells them to cosmetic manufacturers, smaller distributors, or the general public. So that's where you get places like TKB Trading, Just Pigments, those type of things. But they started a chemical corporation. So when I started digging into that, I did a search of cosmetic pigment manufacturers. And the first company that I came up with was BASF. Now, BASF is a chemical company that makes all manner of shit. So they probably make half the crap that's in your household right now. Regardless, it's a chemical company. I think the thing that really kind of sparked this for me is the fact that when I was looking through their cosmetic pigments section, a lot of the lingo that I see used by influencers now was actually on their website for their seasonal promotions for this color is going to be the next new color, or this is what we're looking forward to for spring, or that kind of thing. So there was a pretty high prevalence of key phrases like reflect, which in fact, reflect is one of the names of BASF's pigment. So I thought that was interesting because I see a lot of influencers say, oh, look at the reflect in this. And I thought, I always kind of wondered where they were getting that, or if that was, you know, something that the cosmetic company is kind of pushing down to them. So of course I'm like, oh, isn't that interesting? You know, it's coming directly from the chemical corporation, probably down to the distributor or the cosmetic company, whoever's taking those pigments, manufacturing them into cosmetics and selling them on the market. So the cosmetic company is probably pulling that lingo down and distributing it. I mean, that wasn't the only one that I saw. I mean, textures, second skin effect, you know, stuff like that. And I was like, I see people use that terminology all the time. And while it might be obvious, it's not necessarily obvious to your everyday consumer. So I just thought that was fascinating, you know, that it's trickling all the way down. Because they came up and it was a chemical company, and that's what kind of started this journey, I did another search for chemical companies that produce pigments. And I mean, there's a lot of them. I've got Alcone, Neolicon, Sun Chemical, and Mark. And by the way, BASF and Mark, those are the best websites that I found. They're both really visually appealing, and they have a lot of information about the pigments and usage and all that. And it's not just pigments, okay? We're talking like silicone and dimethicone formulations for things like concealer and foundation and that kind of thing. So we're not just talking pigments here. I mean, we're talking like the whole gamut of what goes into your cosmetics. My thing is, the whole thing started because if you go on YouTube and you look up how to make multichrome eyeshadows or how to press multichrome eyeshadows, just look up how to mix or create multichrome eyeshadows. All you get is resin stuff. Like, oh, I took this multichrome pigment that I bought somewhere else and I mixed it into my resin. I want to be able to make my own because, I don't know, I have that creative juice and I just want to do it myself because I want to be able to make my own colors because I'm a weirdo. A lot of these companies, they'll tell you what the chemical composition is, you know, like, and in fact, on one of them, it pretty much tells you synthetic fluorophosphatite, titanium dioxide, tin oxide. It's right there on the packaging, and you know it's all synthetic. Like, these are synthetic micas, synthetic micas. They'll tell you the process that's used to create it, like how they spray it with titanium dioxide and it changes the molecular structure and creates that reflect, and that's fascinating to me because I like to see things from the ground up. But most places won't tell you how to put this one and this one together to make this duochrome or this multichrome. It's almost like they're trying to keep it a trade secret. It's frustrating because it's like that creates the demand for the market because people can't create their own. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, it's all these indie brands that are creating this stuff, and it's like, good for them, props, you know, but I want to know how to do it. And are you just ordering pigments from one place and they're already created, and then you're slapping some eyeshadow base mix in there and pressing them and distributing them, or are you actually taking this multichrome pigment and putting it with this multichrome pigment and creating a new color? And what are you doing? How are you doing this? So that's what I want to know, because like I said, it's this big secret. So that's why I bought the interference pigments, because oh my god, this is just, I'm thinking about doing a deeper dive into the industry aspect because it's fascinating, and also kind of into the chemical molecular structure of it, because I also think that's fascinating. And yeah, I'm weird, and I freely admit that, and it is what it is. But let me know if you're interested in anything like that. I mean, I don't know if you are or not, but I am, so that's why I'm making this video. Well, and to show off the pigments. So there you have it. Moving along. like I said, there's a lot of manufacturers that make them. Most of them have their own names for them, obviously. So if you go on Merck's website, it's going to be named one thing. If you go on BASF, it's going to be named another. If you go to just Pigments, it's interference pigments. I mean, I think that actually is what it says. Well, they call, like this one is Superstar Shimmer. That's due to micron count. So I'll get into that in a second. Then you have like TKB Trading calls it something different, like highlight pigments. HYLITE, I think it is. So if you go on TKB, you're looking for interference pigments, but you're looking for it by a different name as opposed to going to just Pigments and their name is something different. So, you know, they're trying to brand to themselves. So that I also get. But one of the things that I found is the interference pigments are based on micron counts. So let's get them out. First of all, oh, and I did get some neon pigments, but I'm going to do a different video on those because, and technically some of these are not eye safe because they have lake dyes in them, and we'll get into that too, but that's a different video. So let me know if you want to see that. And honestly, if you don't, I'll probably do it anyways because I'm sorry. I love you guys, but I kind of do videos for me too. Anyways, here's the sample pack that I got from Just Pigments, and there's 22 in here, I believe. Of course, there's these two. That's a violet, and this is the pearl blue. And I believe this is considered a lustrous. It says 10 to 60 microns. That falls into the lustrous category. So I want to say, and I pulled these out because I honestly think the Kat Von D, the OG Alchemist palette, this one, I think that these... Anyways, I think that they must be a pretty low micron count because they don't produce that shimmer like a lot of them do. That's my thoughts on that. But of course, that's one of the first iridescent palettes that was all iridescence that came out. I mean, she was probably just, wow, these are cool and let's use them. Which, I mean, it did really well. I mean, it's OG. It's legit. But like in this circumstance, because there are different micron counts now and it's evolved, you can get that shimmer. I used that on my eyeshadow today. I used those two colors that I had pulled out, the Superstar Shimmer Violet and the Pearl Blue. I mixed them together, and I actually have a video of that, so I'll probably put like a little, you know, cameo or something up here to show you what I did. I pulled out my Luna palette, which is the knockoff of the Norvina palette, and used that because I thought it would go well, and it did. Here's how the micron count works. For satins, it's 5 to 25 microns. For lustrous, which is like the pearl, let me see if I can pull out a satin. Let me find one. Okay, so here's a satin. There's a satin, and you can see that effect. It looks like white powder with a little bit of violet, and this is the satin violet. Now lustrous, which is the 10 to 60 microns, that's going to be a little bit more shiny like this. And this is the blue pearl. This is one of the ones that I used on my eye today. And then let me see, can we find a flash? I mean, I got a lot of them. I was very excited because it's basically the whole gamut of what they sell for interference pigments. They give you a small bit of each one. So you can play around with them and make the decision whether you, in fact, like them and want to use them, continue to buy them. Maybe on larger scale. But for me, I'm just using it for me. This should be sufficient, but you never know. Who knows? Maybe I'll get my pressing kit and like it and want to press a crap ton for my friends. Who knows? Next is the flash, and this is 10 to 100 microns. Now this is the flash violet, and honestly this one doesn't look that much different than the lustrous, because I mean, when you think about this, the lustrous is 10 to 60 and the flash is 10 to 100. So really, there's not that substantial a difference in the microns. Oh, and by the way, that's the particulate size. So basically, that's how big the powder is going to be, how fine it's going to be. The lower the microns count, the finer the powder. The higher the microns count, the glitterier or larger it's going to be. Like, here's the Superstar Shimmer Violet. This is 10 to 200 microns. So you have that combination of the fine powdery, but then you have that glittery, and you can see it moves around a lot more in there because the microns are a higher count. But this is really shimmery. This is almost glittery. I think that's what you're seeing like in a lot of your glittery highlights where people are like, oh, I like it, but it's a little glittery. I think it's this higher micron count interference pigment that you're really seeing. Not necessarily that they're adding glitter per se. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Anyway, so in the interest of speeding up what's going to be like an insufferably long video, I'm going to just take a second and show you a couple of them. I'm not going to go through the whole color range because, like I said, what they did was they gave you violet, green, here's a red pearl, and I'm wondering if this is kind of what they use for Red Giant, Terra Moon, Red Giant. And I'm thinking I might show you this. There's satin red, flash gold, green pearl. So basically they give you one of each micron count in each color. And I think I paid $22 for this. Maybe they didn't give me 22. Maybe it's 22 that I paid for it. That could be what it is. At any rate, it was a pretty good deal for what I got, and I'm really happy with it. And I'll tell you, I was super excited when I mixed these two together and got this. I'm very much looking forward to starting to mix these into some of my pigments because I have all of my pigments too. And I got those neon pigments, and I'm not gonna lie, I did get into those. And I put some of my Maron mixing liquid in there, which, let's see if it'll re-liquefy, because I don't know if it will. But we're gonna try it, because that's how I roll. Little brush, because I don't need a big brush. Oh yeah, it's coming back to life. I put some of that interference blue violet, the shimmer I believe. It might have been the satin I put in there. And it's supposed to be hot pink, but it changed it to this light baby pink. It's still UV reactive, which is interesting. It's still UV reactive, but it's got that sheen, that violet sheen. That's why I'm excited about it, because it really does change the color of what you have. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. What can I say? Let's move along. So I've got my handy dandy GoPro. This is okay. I've been trying to find a much better overhead setup because doing overhead video in my dining area just ain't working out very well. So I think this is going to work much better. So I want to try the red pearl. I think I'll try the flash green and the satin gold and the Superstar Shimmer Blue. I think those are the ones that we're going to go with. And yeah, I know my hands look janky, but I'm not going to apologize for that because I work. And I found these handy dandy little palettes. I actually use these quite a bit for painting. However, if you go in the arts and crafts section at Walmart, good luck. So I went to our local job lots, big lots kind of place, and they had them 2-packs for $1.50. I was so excited because I was like, these will work perfect. Perfect for what I need them to do. So that's the flash green. We'll put that right there. There's the red pearl. We'll put that right here. That's a dog hair. Don't you love it? Gotta love it. Dog hair everywhere. Look at my new mug. This is my Mother's Day mug. My hubby got it for me. It says life is better with a dog. And that's me and Dieter. Look, it even has our names on it, and Dieter has little bent ear. Isn't it cute? Oh. Okay. So, I digress. This one is the satin gold. My camera just cut off. Maximum recording time reached. Even it's getting tired of me blathering on. Anyways, here's the satin gold. And last is the Superstar Shimmer Blue. And you can see it disperses all over the place. And I think that's because of the higher particle size. Now comes the fun part. I have my Maron liquid here. And I'm going to put a drop in each one. And we'll swatch them out and see how they look. And I just grabbed out some flat brushes to use with this, so I figured they'll get the job done. Oh, that is the green. That's the flash green. And obviously they're in a white base. And this is the red pearl. Yeah, that's pretty. I think I put a little too much mixing medium in this one. Next is the satin gold. And last is that Superstar Shimmer Blue. This is a lot denser brush that I'm using for this one, so, oh yeah, it's coming out. Ooh. Ooh. Wait until you see this one. That's beautiful. And it's very glittery. Like, I don't know if it'll focus. Anyways, you get the idea. So, I have lots of fun things to experiment with. But this is what I kind of wanted to do because I wanted to see if I could create a multichrome with it. So I'm going to take some of this gold and put it into this red and see what it does. See if I can see the red and the gold. I might have to let it dry down because now that it's dry, now that the other ones are drying down, they're showing up better, but you can see a little bit of that red in there. Well, I mixed the blue and the violet together for this, and you can see both in it, so. Yeah, you can, but it's not really prevalent, and I think that's because I use less of the red. It does look like you can mix them together and create like a duochrome effect, so I'm really stoked about that, and I'm going to press some stuff, play around a little bit more, press some pigments. When I get my TKB training eye press kit, I'm gonna make some and I'm gonna film it because honestly, the money that I will spend on all of these, plus I got the neon pigments and I got a synthetic green mica that's beautiful. I really didn't spend that much, less than the price of an expensive palette. So yeah, why would I spend that kind of money? You know me, I'm cheap. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I'm cheap. So that's just how it works with me, I guess. Anyways, that video is a coming. As soon as I get that, I'm gonna play around with it, and once I get it down, I'm gonna show you how to do it because I'm super stoked about this and I'm gonna share that. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, leave a comment below. That really does help me. And if you want to see more like this, hit the subscribe button and ring that little notification bell, and it'll let you know whenever I'm uploading. Hey, and let me know how you like the new background. I mean, the black was kind of my husband's idea, but I'm really taking on it. I like it a lot. It looks good. I'm happy with it. Hopefully you are too. We'll see you next time. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.